So having looked at my graphs edu, how to draw them, and also how to find the area under the curves, we want to talk about graphical solutions. So my graphical solutions, ndo ma solutions atinowana when we're using my graphs edu. So first of all, my graphical solutions, the first one we'll look at is the roots of the equations. So after roots of equations, we'll talk of the maximum and minimum values, and we'll also look at solving simultaneous equations of linear and quadratic functions. So we can have a linear function, which is a line, as well as a quadratic equation. Then the two of them can be solved simultaneously via graphs. So first of all, we can take a look at the roots of equations. So the roots of equations, it's just to summarize it, tukuti pana x axis. So when our graph runs f of x redu pese parinokata the what, the x axis redu rinenge riripi, it will be this line. This is our x axis, right? So graph redu iri function of x iri ndo rakuuya robva ranokata what, x axis. Saka parinonokatira panapa, that's the first. Then robva rauya futi, then robva ranonokata papa, that's what, that's the second value. And it, so patinoona pa x axis pedu apa parirukata papa, we find that kuti y yedu will be equal to 0. So let's say, for example, you were given an equation, possibly an equation yako yenge kanzi iyo y is equals to x squared plus what, 3x minus 2. So if you want to find this one, the roots for this one, y would have to be equal to 0. Saka isi tinoita kuti y wedu uyu ndiye watakuita kuti ave equal to what, to 0. Y wedu akava equal to 0, now it becomes an equation yaunonyatsoziva. So that those are the roots of the what, of the equation. This equation ndoyamuchiti quadratic equation, and it is solved using the quadratic formula. But kana tiri kushandisa magraphs to solve this equation, tiri kuti patodraw graph redu, and then when the graph cuts the x-axis or parino crosser the x-axis, ndo pane pane ma roots edu. So ma roots edu tiri kuti chi, parikukata the x-axis, root yedu it's what, 15 will be the value for what, for x. So that's the first root. And parukata futi apa it's minus 5, so x head will be equal to what, minus 5. So zviri kunzi ta solve an equation for what, for function of x, and it can taiwana ichitaura kuti x is equals to minus 5, x is equals to what, 15. That's for the function of x, not this one. This one was just in what, an example yananchungopa. But for the function of x, which is the one that is drawn in green, my solutions here will be what, minus 5, as well as what, x is equals to what, 15. Then we look again at the maximum and minimum values. So attach my maximum and minimum value is maxima and minima. This is the value of what, of y on the turning points of graphs. So you need two things that are involved: finding the value of y, but to be found up by way on what, on my turning points. But then kana tichi to be found on my turning points, first of all we need to identify what's a turning point. So a turning point yedu is when the graph what, parinokeva kudai, treatise e ndo inenge ichinzi what, the turning point. Saka isusu patakuti tapiwa graph redu like this, right? Tapiwa graph redu like this, and then we have it like this, and then pana patomboti pana 700 panapa we have y and we have x, and let's say panapa rakata at 3, and panapa it's minus what, 5. So for this graph, you can see what is the maximum value, and the maximum value do maximum what value do when what, when y is equal to 7. So that's the maximum value. So the maximum value for the graph is what, it's 7. And then we also have minimum values. Minimum values edu graph redu takuchiripiwa rakaita maybe like this, right? We have y and x, and we have our graph maybe possibly like this, and then graph redu takuchuda kuona kuti apa parinokata apa. Okay, let me just use another graph, maybe unokwanisa kufunga kuti let's say kuti rakadai. This is our graph, and saka parinodai, so tonoona the y value panapa. Let's say that it's minus what, 3, and then panapa rakata it what, 0, and panapa over that's just minus 7, and so our graph is f of x. Then to batanze, so find the what, the minimum value for the graph, yeah, f of x. So the minimum value of the graph of f of x takuenda pane the turning point to vataenda kuno inengeri the y value yachona they are true kuda. So the minimum value will be equal to what, to 3. So takuti minimum what value will be equal to minus 3. I mean it will be equal to minus 3. So that's the maximum and what, minimum. So in general kuno kuti we have what, maximum, because raka kevera mudenga, and then kana raka kevera kuzasi we have what, minimum. Is that okay? So zvinokwanisa kuitika, we might also be given a curve possibly like this, right? Like this. So in a type of a curve like this, we have what, this one giving us what, the maximum value, and then we have this one giving us what, the minimum value. So that's the maximum and minimum values.